Welcome to the COBOL-IT Learning Center. Installing COBOL-IT Compiler Suite Enterprise Edition on Windows. In this module, we will download and install the COBOL-IT Compiler Suite Enterprise Edition and Demo License. We will then validate the installation of the COBOL-IT compiler. After these exercises, you will be ready to begin using your new COBOL compiler on a Windows platform. Prerequisites. Before installing the COBOL-IT Compiler Suite Enterprise Edition, the Microsoft Visual C compiler must be installed on your Windows computer. The COBOL-IT compiler translates COBOL to C, and uses the local C compiler to create a shared library or executable. As a result, the COBOL-IT compiler requires that the host computer have a C compiler. At the time of installation, you must indicate what version of the Visual C compiler is installed on your computer. This information ensures best performance, and allows the COBOL-IT compiler to call that C compiler. In this exercise, we have the Express edition of the Visual C 2010 compiler installed on our computer. COBOL-IT can be used with 32 and 64-bit Microsoft Visual C compilers. In our exercises, we are using a 32-bit Visual C compiler, and will download and install a 32-bit COBOL-IT compiler. If you are using a 64-bit Visual C compiler, you must download and install the 64-bit COBOL-IT compiler. Now, let's proceed to COBOL-ITonline.com. and download the COBOL-IT Compiler Suite Enterprise Edition for the Windows platform. COBOL-IT Online is the COBOL-IT portal for downloading software. We will download the COBOL-IT Compiler Suite Enterprise Edition and Demo License from COBOL-IT Online. In the panel on the left, enter the email address you have registered with COBOL-IT, and the password you received from COBOL-IT. Click on the Login button. When you have logged into COBOL-IT Online, you will see the Welcome screen. Select the Downloads option on the left panel. In the Active Authorizations window of the Downloads page, select COBOL-IT Compiler Suite Enterprise Windows. Active authorizations are the products you are currently authorized to download. Selecting COBOL-IT Compiler Suite Enterprise Windows will display a list of the products you may download. On the download screen, the 32-bit COBOL-IT compiler for Windows is listed as Compiler Windows. From the list on the left, select Compiler Windows. After selecting Compiler Windows, you will advance to the Download Method screen. Use the default settings. Click OK. This pop-up window asks how you would like the download to proceed. The Save button will download and save the software in the Downloads folder on your computer. Select the Save function. Some virus-checking software will not recognize the COBOL-IT download. If you see this window, close it by clicking on the X Cancel button. Now you must download the demo license. Return to the previous screen by clicking on the arrow in the upper left corner of your browser. On the download screen, in the list on the left, select Demo License. After selecting Demo License, you will advance to the Download Method screen. Use the default settings. Click OK. Again, select the Save button to download and save the demo license in the Downloads folder on your computer. You have now completed your downloads. You may exit your browser. We will now proceed to install the COBOL-IT Compiler Suite Enterprise Edition and Demo License on a Windows platform. Navigate to your Downloads folder. Select the COBOL-IT Windows Setup file and double-click it. Select the defaults as the installation proceeds. For language selection, click OK for English. On the next screen, click Yes to allow the software to install on your computer. Click Next to continue the setup. On our computer, we have installed the 32-bit version of Visual C 2010. So, we will select COBOL-IT 32 bits for VC 2010. This information is used in building the COBOL-IT setup file, as well as in the installation of the compiler and runtime. If you make a mistake here, and select a version of the C compiler that is not installed on your computer, you will see an error when you attempt to start using the COBOL-IT compiler. Click Next to continue. Click Next to accept the default installation directory of C COBOL-IT. Select all of the components. Click Next to continue the install. COBOL-IT installs the software in the C COBOL-IT directory. When all of the files have been installed, we will open the COBOL-IT command shell. Then, we will install the license file, and validate the installation of the COBOL-IT compiler. The installation of the COBOL-IT compiler suite has installed an icon on your desktop. Click on it to open a COBOL-IT command shell. Clicking on the desktop icon runs the COBOL-IT setup script. The COBOL-IT setup script sets the environment to operate with your Microsoft Visual C compiler. In this example, we see that the environment has been set for using Microsoft Visual Studio 2010. The COBOL-IT setup script also sets the COBOL-IT root directory and other environment variables required by the COBOL-IT compiler and runtime. Here, the COBOL-IT root directory is set to C COBOL-IT. Now, let's install the license file. The COBOL-IT compiler and runtime will look for the license file in C COBOL-IT. Copy CIT license.xml from your Downloads folder to C COBOL-IT. With the license in place, we can validate the install of the compiler. To validate the installation of the COBOL-IT compiler, type COBOL-C-V at the command line. You will see that your COBOL compiler is valid. Congratulations! You are ready to use the COBOL-IT Compiler Suite Enterprise Edition in Windows. Summary. In this module, we downloaded and installed the COBOL-IT Compiler Suite Enterprise Edition and Demo License. We then validated the installation of the COBOL-IT Compiler Suite Enterprise Edition. For more detailed information, and the very latest reference documentation, please visit the doc folder under your COBOL-IT home directory. We encourage you to continue using the COBOL-IT online training program. Thank you.